Apparently a much shorter person was here before. Sorry, Butch. All right, as Mr. Owen said, my name is Dr. Silvey, Brian Silvey. I'm the director of bands at the zoo. And it's really a pleasure to be here over the past 2 days working with these incredibly talented students. That first piece you heard this afternoon was entitled Halcyon Hearts by composer Katahj Copley. And Halcyon was a word, quite frankly, I had to look up when I first programmed this piece a couple years ago with a different band. So Halcyon means peaceful or happy. And so the hearts portion of that title just means the composer was talking about people finding happiness and peace. And I think that's a wonderful message, especially in times like now where we're confronted with war and all sorts of other things and unrest around the world. So just having peaceful, happy thoughts and thinking, being with people like that is just really, really wonderful. So that was Halcyon Hearts. I think you hear that in the music as well. Really lush chords, beautiful sounds throughout the ensemble there. The second piece is very different. It's entitled Songs of Old Kentucky by Brant Karrick. A fun little fact for you, it may not be fun, but it is a fact, is that I am from Kentucky. And so I'm contractually obligated to perform this piece everywhere I go. All right, so it's in two movements. The first is a beautiful, expressive movement based on old Kentucky folk songs that were found around the founding of that state. So we're talking mid-1700s into the early 1800s. And then the second movement of this is a much quicker, more brisk piece entitled Barn Dance. And so it's a really rollicking, fun time there. And it features one folk song I know you'll know, My Old Kentucky Home, but you may be able to figure out some other ones along the way during our performance tonight. So a two-movement work, Old Kentucky Songs by Brant Karrick. percussion are transitioning, we'll also move to our third of 5 pieces. This is entitled Resplendent Light. So whenever band directors are choosing repertoire, one of the most important considerations is picking something where you can really force the students to express themselves. And typically this is slower music, featuring lots of melodies where you can work on things like balance and blend and intonation. And so when you're doing things like this, you always want to select a piece that's very similar to what you're going to hear. I've also heard it described as you're trying to find a piece that's going to tug on the heartstrings just a little bit. So an absolutely incredibly beautiful lyrical piece of music, and we hope you enjoy it. It's Resplendent Light. I always worry when I do things like this and nothing happens. As a conductor, that's the worst feeling, trust me. But wanted to make sure that I pointed out Brant, I believe, in the back there. Euphonium solo with Isabella in the front and a little duet as well. So what a gorgeous, beautiful piece of music. Apparently someone has a fan. Excellent. All right. We're going to change it up for you now, everybody, in the next to last piece. This is entitled A Little Tango Music. And so it's a 3-movement work, all very brief movements, set to tango music. And so, as a native Kentuckian, there's not a lot of tango there. But I wanted to introduce this music because it's just really fun to play. It's very dance-like. I promised the students if they played it really well, I would not dance. So no one wants to see that, trust me, myself included. But we do hope that you enjoy our performance of Adam Gorb's A Little Tango Music. tell you exactly what the music is, okay? A little tango music, yeah it was. It was a little tango music, all right? Before we perform our last number tonight, just a few thank yous. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Sewell and his staff here at Joplin High School for using their incredible facilities. So, band directors, as you know, if you're one of them or you know them, work extremely hard, okay? It's a Saturday, and these folks have been here all day on behalf of these wonderful students. So let's thank him and his staff for allowing us to be here. Mr. Owens, he was one who helped put together all of this, dealing with auditions and space concerns and being there every step of the way to help me ensure that these students had an incredible experience over the last 2 days. And so he's the director of bands at Webb City. Let's give him a round of applause, please. And those aren't the only two directors and staffs I want to thank. Everybody who's on stage here gets taught day in and day out by many band directors who I assume are out in the audience supporting them this evening. I have the easy job, okay? Someone says, hey, why don't you come down and work with their very best students? And you know what the answer always is to that question? Yes, I'm excited to do that. And so I come in and I have all these wonderful musicians on stage, being very attentive, listening to everything I say, and making the very best music possible. And that's an absolute treat for me. But I don't do the day in, day out work that gets the things that you've heard this afternoon to the way that they are. So those directors who are in the audience and those who may not be able to be here with us tonight, we owe a huge debt of gratitude all the way from elementary music teachers who helped prepare these students in music to the middle school band directors all the way up to their high school band directors. So parents and caregivers, can we give a big round of applause for all those band directors? And then lastly, before I introduce our last piece, I want to thank all these students on stage. You know, I'm very privileged to be able to go around and do these type of activities, and I don't take that for granted. And so students, I want you to know that you were absolutely wonderful over the past 2 days. Couldn't ask for any better caliber of students. And so I tell folks this all the time. I'd much rather have students who are attentive and well-behaved and maybe not as talented than the reverse, where they're super talented and egomaniacs and don't want to listen to anything, okay? These students have both. They're super talented and they're super attentive and well-behaved. And I want to thank you so much for your last 2 days of hard work and musicianship. So I want to extend that also to the conference band that performed before us, and then also the 4 state symphonic winds. Can we give both of those groups a round of applause? That is where I'll leave my thank yous. I know a lot of us have a Chiefs game to get home and not watch on regular television. Right. Okay, I see a few people, you know, maybe you signed up for Peacock, I don't know, but just one brief aside right here. Do we have Chiefs fans in the audience? I've got some more bad news for you. I grew up in Northern Kentucky, so I'm an avid Cincinnati Bengals fan. Okay, so the last 2 years, right? AFC Championship, the Bengals won the first one, Chiefs won the second one, and this year, as you might know, the Bengals aren't in the playoffs, so I don't have to worry about watching any of that. So enough about me. Let me direct the attention back to our last piece. This is Rocketship by Kevin A. It's exactly what you would think. It's high adrenaline, it's really exciting music, and it actually, weirdly enough, coincides with the Alien piece that the conference band performed. So maybe the aliens came in on this rocket ship you're about to hear. So again, thank you so much for being so supportive of your school music programs and these wonderful students and their directors. We'll conclude our portion of the event with Kevin Day's Rocketship.